Hi, everybody. I'm Derek Eder. I'm a partner at DataMade and a co-founder of OpenCity and an organizer for the OpenGov Hack Night in Chicago. And we're going to talk to you about a project called Large Lots. And it's a project that it's about democracy, it's about technology, and it's about community organizing and the civic technology groups in Chicago working on something together that's greater than the sum of the parts. So I'll let Damon kick it off.
Good afternoon. My name is Damon Drummer. I'm the tech organizer at Teamwork Inglewood on Chicago's South Side. Now, you know Chicago is a city known by many names. Sandberg called it the city of big shoulders. And because of an emerging and thriving civic tech scene, it's becoming to be known as the city of big data. But no matter how you see Chicago, you must recognize that at its essence, Chicago is a city of neighborhoods. And it's in one of these neighborhoods that the Large Lot story begins. I live in Inglewood. It's a neighborhood on the South Side that is known for all of the problems that any major metropolitan city has in America. We're talking about unemployment, foreclosure, gun violence, chronically failing schools, persistent poverty, and the list goes on and on. But Inglewood wasn't always this way. At its economic height, Inglewood was the #1 retail district in the country that was not in a central city. It was the #1 neighborhood retail district in the entire country. And then as black families began to move into the neighborhood, things like redlining, blockbusting became the rule of the day. All the frustration that was going on in the neighborhood reeked out into the streets as a wave after Martin Luther King was assassinated. Riots and looting swept down 63rd Street and hit that retail district really hard. A lot of businesses were boarded up. Many never opened again. Today, we have more vacant storefronts than thriving businesses, and our population is only a third of what it was just 6 decades ago. But Inglewood has not given up on itself. And just before I move on, this lot is the view from my desk. That center that I was talking to you about, that retail district, that was the #1 neighborhood retail center in the entire country, it is now a 13-acre vacant lot. But again, the neighborhood has not given up on itself. Resident groups and organizations have come together to pull the neighborhood back from the brink. The city of Chicago hasn't given up on Inglewood. The city of Chicago has not given up on Inglewood either. With the investment of Kennedy King College, it is a new anchor of economic development in the neighborhood. And we also have the groundbreaking of a Whole Foods just a few weeks ago that is scheduled to open in 2016. But the signs of blight still continue to surround us. Abandoned buildings are on every block in the neighborhood, and after the abandoned buildings are knocked down, we're left with vacant lots. And there are 2,000 city-owned vacant lots in the Inglewood community alone. And so in 2011, the city of Chicago came together because there were 10,000 city-owned vacant lots throughout the city spread across the south and west sides. And so the Regional Planning Authority, the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, the City of Chicago, and a neighborhood development intermediary called LISC Chicago came together and created what was called the Green Healthy Neighborhoods Land Use Planning Project to tackle this vacant lot issue head on. The strategy was very simple. Ask the people in the neighborhood what we ought to do. And there was a group that took that opportunity very seriously. The resident association said, we have a lot of resident members in our group that are already taking care of these city-owned vacant lots. We have some ideas of how to get these lots back into private hands. And so together with city planners, the resident association and other residents in Inglewood came together and crafted a simple policy. The idea was that if you own property on a block, and if you don't owe the city any money, you can apply to up to 2 city-owned lots from the city. As long as you hold it for 5 years, you can buy that lot for $1. Now, this pilot project was really exciting, and it was released in the newspapers and online. But the only hook was that you have to download a PDF to figure out what the policy was all about, and then use either the city data portal or the GIS zoning map to determine which lots were on your block and available, and doing this all while you're toggling between the county website and the city website to resolve the property pins that you were dealing with. Teamwork Inglewood thought that we could do better than this, and so we reached out to Derek Eder at DataMade to help us solve this problem.
So that's where we come in. But before I dive into how we actually solve this problem, I wanted to give just a little bit of history about the civic technology community in Chicago. It's been maturing over the last 3 or 4 years, with the city of Chicago and Cook County releasing open data, and the Knight Foundation, List Chicago, and groups like Smart Chicago being an intermediary to help add value and give infrastructure to this community, to build it up and to provide funding for it. And so groups like Open City and DataMade have come out of this ecosystem. And we have a partnership with List Chicago where they want us to go out to these neighborhoods and find out what are the problems that are already being worked on, listen to what they're already doing, and come up with potential technology solutions that can actually help them do their jobs better. And so when the large lots problem was presented to us, we were like, well, this is a perfect match for this mission. So we built largelots.org. And this, as you can see, is the very first iteration of that website. You can see a map of the area that all these lots are being sold. And you can actually see the outline of every individual parcel. You can click on a parcel, and you can see a picture that comes from Cook County of what that lot will look like, so you know what you're getting. And then you can see information about what the address is, what the square footage is, and links off to getting tax history information. And just as a little shout out to Smart Chicago and Josh Kalov, the data that we got to make this website, the Cook County parcel data, was released with their help by Cook County just 2 weeks before we made this website. So talk about like being on like the bleeding edge of open data and open technology. We had the data just in time to be able to make this.
Now, there were 4,000 eligible lots in the planning area for this pilot. The city received 500 applications. Now, for a point of comparison, under the old policy, only 35 city-owned lots were transferred to resident hands. And so this is a big difference, and this is just a 30-day window. Mm-hmm. We also got a lot of news coverage.
Yeah, that's right. So the pilot was deemed a huge success. They had way more applicants than they were expecting. And as a result, on the city's end, they had to process all these paper applications that people had submitted. And it took over 2 weeks and 170 person-hours just to hand transcribe those paper documents into a spreadsheet so they could do the work. So we knew that the first pilot was great. It was a great start, but we could do better. And thankfully, the city of Chicago decided very shortly after the first pilot ended that there would be a new pilot in East Garfield Park, an area to the west of downtown Chicago. And we used this as an opportunity to talk to some folks in the city and figure out, well, what kind of questions were you guys getting from residents as far as what are the problems people are encountering? We talked to DeMond, who had been in the neighborhoods in Inglewood, talking to people who were filling out these applications, and we found out what is working and what isn't. And we used the opportunity to build a new version, a Large Lots 2.0 website with more funding and resources from LISC. And we took the entire process online. We made an application that's very similar to the first one. We have a map that shows you all the parcels. But then instead of just clicking on a lot to have it, see the information, you can actually add it to your application. All told, if you had the information about your proof of ownership and which lots you wanted, the actual process for buying a lot online on this website took 5 minutes or less.
Now, because the application was exclusively online, we worked very closely with the Chicago Public Library to offer guidance and resources for those who didn't have a computer at home. All told, there were 417 eligible lots in East Garfield Park. 58% of those lots were applied for. That's a great victory.
Yeah, 58%. I mean, that's just a number that we were not expecting at all. Every purple parcel on this map was a lot that was applied for. So this is something that we really were excited about doing. We're excited to continue working on this project. We have some takeaways that we got from this process. The first one is with, not for. DeMond and the folks in Teamwork Inglewood came to us with a problem. And oftentimes what I've seen in a lot of civic technology projects, there's a lot of people sitting in a room thinking about, what kind of app could I make, and just send that out into the world, and I hope people will use it, gee, golly. So we listened to what people were really wanting to have us solve, and we built this application with them, not for them. The second one is technology can enable policy to scale. Imagine if that 170 hours they spent in Inglewood was rolled out for the entire city. Imagine the entire city had this large lot program. They couldn't actually fulfill the policy. They could not have had the staff time to be able to actually execute on the policy. But because the entire application is online now, it's possible.
And the third learning is that innovation comes from the bottom up. Inglewood's challenges are Chicago's challenges. And so, yeah, you can go ahead and clap. That's So Inglewood's challenges are Chicago's challenges. And so Inglewood's solution for our community becomes Chicago's solution. So innovation can truly happen, and happens best, I would argue, when it's from the bottom up. Now, largelots.org is a culmination of a number of things: a robust community organizing, a mature civic tech sector, and forward-thinking funders who support this great work.
But it's not over yet. There's more work to do. And I'm happy to announce that in the next October City Council session, the official Large Lots program will be introduced. And as a line item on that ordinance, there will be 5 years of funding for continued development of the website and continued community outreach. The city gets it, and the city is putting skin in the game to actually make it happen and continue its success.
So what's it all for? What's it all for? This is a picture of Aisha Butler, who is the president of the Resident Association of Greater Inglewood, a neighborhood group that I'm proud to be a co-founder of. Aisha was at the forefront of driving the partnership to create this large lots policy because she has an abandoned lot that's owned by the city across the street from her home. She couldn't buy it under the city's old policy. And so that's the large lot story. A story of a policy solution and a technology solution that is by the people and for the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.